My charming and fair-minded Libra friend. Hello and welcome. My name is Mina, and I'm here to offer you a 3-card reading exploring the themes of you, your path, and your potential. I invite you to consider what the reading reveals about possible challenges, opportunities, and personal growth for the week ahead. Take a deep breath, rest your mind, and let's see what the cards have to share with you today. Libra, there is a subtle tension humming under your week. You might sense it as an edge in your conversations or a restlessness that colors the quiet moments. It's not loud, not explosive, more like a low background note that never fully fades. Sometimes it's the feeling that something unsaid is shaping your day, or a reluctance to speak a truth you've been holding in. You may find yourself weighing words before letting them out, or silently rehearsing everything you wish you could say. There's a carefulness in your energy, a desire for peace that's challenged by the need to stand your ground. In the spaces between what you want and what you're willing to risk, a certain unease lingers. It's the sense that an invisible negotiation is always underway, even when you're alone. Underneath it all is a longing for understanding, by yourself for yourself. Whether you're surrounded by others or moving through your own thoughts, the air feels charged with the possibility of conflict, or maybe just the fear of it. You want harmony, but you also want to be seen and heard. This week, the tension comes from the gap between those two desires. That inner landscape is echoed by the appearance of the 5 of Swords. You may notice moments where you're carrying the weight of recent disagreements, or perhaps you're haunted by the aftertaste of words exchanged in haste. There's a part of you that wants to smooth things over, to make it all right again, but you can't ignore the sting of what's been said or left unsaid. Even when you try to let it go, the echoes linger. It's not just about the other person, it's about your own sense of what's fair, what's true to you. Sometimes the cost of winning, or even just being right, feels heavier than you expected. You might catch yourself replaying a conversation in your mind, wishing you'd chosen different words, or wondering if silence would have served you better. There's a subtle defensiveness that creeps in, a readiness to explain or justify your feelings even when no one is asking. Underneath there's fatigue, as if you're carrying a story that's grown heavier with each retelling. This doesn't mean you're in the midst of open conflict all week. More often it's an internal push and pull, a feeling of being at odds with yourself about how much to share, how much to hold back. You want connection, but you also want to protect yourself from disappointment or misunderstanding. Sometimes you sense the urge to retreat, to gather your thoughts before you risk another misunderstanding. Other times you find yourself bracing for someone else's reaction before you've even spoken. What's most alive in you is the question, what's worth speaking up for and what's better left in silence? It's not an easy answer, and the tension of not knowing can be exhausting. Still, there's a quiet strength in your willingness to face these internal battles. You're not looking for drama, but you are searching for clarity, even if it hurts. The need to find your own truth and to make peace with it is what shapes your emotional posture this week. From this inner world, a new path begins to emerge. When your heart holds this kind of tension, between honesty and harmony, between expression and restraint, the world seems to reflect it back to you. The way you move through your days changes. You notice opportunities to clear the air, or perhaps you're confronted by situations that demand your clarity. The pressure builds not as a storm, but as a sense of momentum that can't be ignored. It's as if every moment is asking you a quiet question. Will you speak your mind, or will you hold your tongue? The decisions you make in these small, everyday moments start to shape the week ahead. Your craving for resolution pulls you forward, but it's the uncertainty that keeps you on edge. The path is not paved with certainty, but with possibility. Each new interaction a chance to try again or to choose differently. The energy you carry into each encounter determines how the story unfolds. This is where the Ace of Swords comes through, cutting through the fog that's been building. The pressures around you may feel sharper than usual. Issues that have lingered unresolved seem to demand a fresh look. You might sense a push to finally say what's on your mind, or you could be faced with a sudden realization that shifts your perspective. There's little room for pretending, even if you wish otherwise. Conversations take on a new edge, truths rise to the surface, sometimes startling, sometimes liberating. The world around you seems to be holding up a mirror, reflecting back the clarity or confusion you bring to it. If you've been holding something in, you may find it's harder to keep quiet. If you've been avoiding a decision, the pressure to choose grows stronger. The friction comes not from external events alone, but from the way your growing need for honesty meets the realities of your life. Even routine exchanges can become charged with meaning, as if every word matters more than usual. The momentum of the week builds on each small choice. Every time you speak your truth, or even just acknowledge it to yourself, you create a ripple that moves outward. The world doesn't always respond the way you hope, but there's a sense of relief in having said what needed to be said. At the same time, this clarity can create new challenges. Not everyone will welcome your honesty, and not every situation will resolve neatly. Still, there's a growing sense of alignment between what you feel and what you express. The more you honor your own truth, the less energy you spend managing the tension. You may still long for harmony, but it's a harmony that's earned, not imposed. The path ahead is shaped by your willingness to be real, even when it feels risky. In this way, the pressures of the week become an invitation to use your words, to trust your mind, to let your inner clarity guide you through uncertainty. Yet this unfolding is not automatic. The potential in your week depends on how present you can be with these pressures, how honestly you can meet yourself in the moment. If you move through the week on autopilot, the old patterns persist. If you pause, if you let yourself feel the discomfort, something new becomes possible. It's not about forcing a breakthrough, but about being awake to the choices each moment offers. The more you engage consciously, the more the tension transforms. Where there was friction, there could be insight. Where there was uncertainty, there might be openness. Your experience of the week is shaped not just by what happens, but by how you show up for it. The cards suggest that your potential is not a fixed destination, but a space that expands as you engage with it. All of this comes together in the Seven of Cups, which opens a field of possibility that's as confusing as it is exciting. When you meet this week's challenges with honest attention, you find yourself awash in options. There's a sense of newness in the air, as if the world is offering you a variety of ways forward. Each choice holds a different shade of emotion, a different story you could live out. Some options feel familiar, comforting even, while others dazzle you with their unfamiliarity. The growth here is not about choosing the right cup, but about recognizing the abundance of choice itself. For a moment, you may feel overwhelmed by all the possibilities. Doubt can creep in, making you question your own clarity. But as you linger with these options, you start to notice which ones resonate, which ones feel like yours. The invitation is gentle. You don't have to choose all at once. There's space to try things out, to let desire and discernment mingle. Each potential path is a reflection of where you are now, of the work you've done to get here. The confusion that comes with so many choices is not a failure, but a sign that you're in a new place. You're not confined to old patterns, not bound by the conflicts that shaped last week. Instead, you're invited to explore, to notice what feels possible when you're honest with yourself. The growth here is subtle, a quiet confidence that grows as you trust your own sense of what's right, moment by moment. The Seven of Cups invites you to be curious, to allow yourself the freedom to imagine, to experiment, to live in the questions for a while. This is how the week opens, not with certainty but with possibility. Looking back across the three cards, a single story emerges. The Five of Swords shows you wrestling with your own sense of rightness and the cost of conflict, both with others and within yourself. The Ace of Swords cuts through the haze, inviting you into moments of sharp clarity and self-expression, even as the pressures around you intensify. And the Seven of Cups arrives as a gentle expansion, offering you a landscape rich with choices, each one colored by your willingness to be honest with yourself. Together, they tell of a journey from tension to clarity to possibility. The discomfort you feel at the start is not a sign that something is wrong, but a sign that something is shifting. Your week is not about resolving every conflict or finding the perfect answer. It's about learning to live with the questions, to honor your truth, and to trust that new options will emerge as you do. In the midst of tension, clarity finds you, and in the wake of clarity, new possibilities quietly unfold. You are not alone in this. The week holds you even as it asks you to hold yourself. Actionable insights for Libra this week. Let yourself pause before responding when emotions rise. Try naming one feeling aloud, even if it's just to yourself, when a conversation feels tense. Notice which options feel lightest when you imagine moving toward them. Spoken word affirmations to repeat aloud for a more positive mindset. My feelings matter, even when they shift. I can speak, even when it feels uncertain. Every option is a door I can open gently. I trust myself to find what fits best. And now, dear friend, I thank you for giving me your time. I truly hope I have given you something helpful in return. Goodbye and good luck until next time.